Mr. President, colleague ministers of foreign affairs, distinguished heads of delegations, representatives of permanent and observer states of the OAS, representatives of specially invited agencies, Secretary General Almagro, Assistant Secretary General Mendez, I bid you all good day. As I extend pleasant greetings to all, permit me on behalf of the delegation of St. Kitts and Nevis to congratulate and thank the government and the people of Peru for the superlative hospitality my delegation has received since arriving in beautiful, historic Lima. Mr. President, my delegation deems most relevant the theme of the 52nd General Assembly, Together Against Inequality and Discrimination. Since we continue to confront the long-standing realities of inequality and discrimination, scourges exacerbated across our hemisphere in states already burdened by the devastating challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. My delegation looks forward to celebrating the approval of the Declaration of Lima, and my government commits to working towards the advancement of the recommendations, the best practices, the policies, and initiatives that must be enacted, implemented, and continuously updated to eradicate the debilitating threats to peace and stability posed by inequality and discrimination in the Americas. Indeed, the levels of inequality and discrimination that have thrived in our hemisphere, they run counter to the core ethos of the OAS and to optimizing the gains to be derived from strengthening its four pillars of democracy, human rights, multidimensional security, and integral development. The richness of our diversity notwithstanding, our hemisphere is one of the most unequal regions on Earth. It behooves us, therefore, to take concrete steps to confront with the concerted force of policy, legislation, and education all historical vestiges of systems which fostered and still perpetuate inequality and discrimination, and those which employ myriad unjust bases even today to discriminate against our very brothers and sisters of this hemisphere. Ironically, inequality and discrimination have, on a very significant scale, hampered the social development of our beloved nations. Our challenge must therefore be to ensure that the OAS, that it expand its relevance across pillars in addressing these issues to the end, so that our citizens experience the fullness of its motto, more rights for more people, and feel the positive impact of transformative actions geared towards the broadest social inclusion, greater and more equitable access to opportunities, and enjoyment of all human rights by every single citizen of this our Americas. We must do no less, Mr. President. For its part, the newly elected government of St. Kitts and Nevis has already begun taking critical steps to reduce inequality and discrimination in many areas of our society. As a historical first for St. Kitts and Nevis, we have witnessed a level of female representation at the 30th percentile level by women in the federal cabinet, ensuring that views of our sisters, views of our mothers, our wives and daughters are more passionately registered at the decision-making table, while advancing gender equality at the highest level of public office. The achievement of this global goal, consistent with the 1995 Beijing Declaration and Platform, continues to solidify the government's commitment to create a more inclusive society. Other historical appointments for our young nation include the designation of our first female permanent representative to the United Nations and the first female Governor General's deputy. My delegation looks forward with great zeal to the adoption of the resolution, Women Leadership for the Advancement of Gender Equality and Democracy in the Americas. Education is one of society's greatest equalizers. And it is for this reason that St. Kitts and Nevis has also taken the decision to provide free tertiary education at our local community college, providing access to higher education to all nationals, regardless of their socio-economic status. We hope to be able to count on the OAS in our quest to advance multilingualism in my country and, of course, in our region, in order to open doors to greater opportunities in tourism, trade, diplomacy, employment, and, of course, academic results and pursuits. We will count on the OAS in this regard. St. Kitts and Nevis is fully committed to building pathways to success for every single citizen, providing access to opportunities for growth and investment in the future, and a tool for breaking down inequities. We pledge to introduce the iLiteracy one-to-one laptop program and to support access to the internet so that every single student is provided the means to work harder, to dream bigger, and soar higher. This also includes strengthening technical and vocational education, providing alternative programming and scholarships, as well as incorporating science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, acronym STEAM, specialist spaces in all of our schools. Mr. President, democracy thrives in societies that value the potential of each citizen to contribute to the whole, and flourishes when biases, inequalities, and discrimination are addressed head-on. The OAS has excelled in its role of catalyst in fostering an appreciation for how seamlessly development, human rights, and security underpin our democracies. And so in that vein, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis wishes to record its deepest appreciation to the Department of Electoral Cooperation and Observation for its gold standard electoral observation of the general elections of August 5th this year in St. Kitts and Nevis. My country, it places the highest value on the expert recommendations of the observer team. My country commits to working towards their implementation so that the democratic foundation of my country continues to be strengthened and the overall electoral processes in my country moored in the tenets of democracy and, of course, good governance. My government extends our gratitude to the governments of Peru, the United States of America, Italy, and the Netherlands for their financial contributions towards this particular mission. Food security. It continues to be a major priority for the government of St. Kitts and Nevis in the fight to ensure that all of our citizens are provided for in equal measure. We acknowledge the direct link between food and nutrition, productivity, health, and education. So the government is procuring new equipment to enhance the food security infrastructure and to improve trade facilitation in the process. St. Kitts and Nevis remains committed to its CARICOM pledge to reduce our food import bill by 25% by the year 2025, and is immensely pleased to lend its full support to the adoption of the resolution, the state of food security and nutrition in the Americas. As part of the OAS family, St. Kitts and Nevis has buttressed our nation building as beneficiaries of much needed scholarships, capacity building and technical expertise, allowing us to gain knowledge in areas such as disaster mitigation response and resilience, multidimensional security, financial intelligence, the development of small and medium-sized enterprises, human rights and democracy, and diplomacy. These are tools that we are using to fight for the advancement of our people and to break down long-standing walls of inequality and discrimination. And so I close, Mr. President, by reaffirming the commitment of St. Kitts and Nevis to the ideals and principles of the OAS. We shall be steadfast in our delivery of our full support and cooperation as we work together to resolve the challenges of this, our hemisphere. The organization can count on our participation in efforts to expand and promote the relevance of the OAS through institutional strengthening so that it remains a vibrant, a progressive, and impactful player in the protection and the advancement of the member states of this hemisphere. A stronger hemisphere in which democracy thrives and our people are safer requires a strong OAS. Let us therefore leave Lima with a renewed determination to write a history of which we can all be proud, by fulfilling the expectations of our peoples, by doing more collectively to create a hemisphere proudly characterized by equality, inclusion, peace, and prosperity for today's citizens and for generations to come. May it please you, Mr. President. Thank you.